Hello and welcome to Lisa Ann Can. I'm Lisa Ann. As you see, I'm here in my closet, in my sewing room / closet, and I'm going to be joining in on a collaboration today. It's called the Dollar Tree Christmas Decor collaboration, I believe, and Alicia is the host of this collaboration, and of course I'll have her YouTube channel linked in the description below, as well as the playlist, so you might like to check that out if you're looking for some inexpensive Dollar Tree decor. So what I'm going to be doing today is making these pot holder dish towel hand dryers that you can hang on your dishwasher or your stove handle. They make inexpensive little gifts or home decor. So most of you who are familiar with shopping at Dollar Tree know that they have these little dish towels that come in an assorted variety of colors. So since it's Christmas, they have their Christmas stock in. I love this poinsettia one. And then they have this Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas with the truck and the barn on it. And then for another occasion, I also picked these up that says Morning Coffee is My True Friend. So they'll also have matching pot holders. Here's the morning coffee one. I'm going to set those aside. And I was able to find these two sets of two pot holders. One has a snowman and one has Santa on it. But it's really not important as to the design on the front. What I'm looking for is the plain color on the back to match with my towels. So the pot holders come in sets of 2 for $1. That is why I bought 2 of each towel. So what I'm going to do is, let me snatch this apart. I'm going to fold these in half like this. I'm going to gather these in the center. I haven't even unpackaged them yet. And so here's the towel unfolded. So I'm going to run a base stitch right through the center and gather. And after I've gathered it, I will stitch it to the pot holder and sew on a button by hand. And that way you can wrap this around your stove handle, button it, and then it's there for decoration or practical purposes to dry your hands on, about 1,000 times a day in the kitchen. So let me get started. So the first thing that I'm going to do is mark the exact center of the towel by folding it in half and placing a pin to mark the center. Do that on both sides. It doesn't have to be perfect, but as close as you can get. So can you see I have the pin up at the top and at the bottom, and that's just going to be a guideline. So I'm going to start there and just run a really loose base stitch on the machine. You can do this part by hand, but it of course is easier on a sewing machine, but it's a very simple stitch. Doesn't require any special knowledge or skill, just being able to sew a straight line, which can be very challenging. You want to leave some extra string on there in order to grab that and pull, because the next step is going to be to gather it, and you want to match the gathering to the size of the pot holder. So I'm going to do the red one first. I'm also going to go ahead and remove this tag. It's easier to gather if you run 2 seams side by side, which I may have to do, but I'm going to try not to do that. Here we go. It's good to tie one side to keep it from, after you've gathered it a little bit, that is. Just hold one of the strings, the bobbin threads, and just gather it from each side. And you want it to be as wide as the pot holder. Okay, so you got to think about which side you want to show. We want, of course, this side to show. So this is how we want to attach it. So line that up. You want to get the center of your pot holder by folding it in half and marking it with a pin. Place that right there on that seam you just sewed so that it's matched up in the center. And match the edges. Then the same thing on the other side. Making sure those edges match up. Just pin that in there. And then you can pull your strings and tighten it to fit. Flatten it out as best you can. Smooth those wrinkles out as best you can, wrinkles and crinkles. Because what you're going to do is just sew right on top of that seam again. My pin is under there. I don't want to sew through that. Let me move it for just a second. I had my stitches on the longest stitch possible, so I'm going to change that to a short stitch because I want it to be nice and secure. And it's pretty thick. Once your needle is in, you can remove that pin. My old antique 1948 Singer has a reverse feature on it, which is really nice. Most modern machines have that too, but to find it on an old one is really a gem. I'm going to do a back stitch. Just carefully guide it along that seam line. It's getting up under there. Might have to lift the foot every now and then to smooth out some of those wrinkles. You can always grab that thread to make sure it's gathered up nicely. And again, when I come to the end, I'm going to reverse to reinforce that stitch. So let's take a look and see how that turned out. Alright, so there you have it. Easy peasy. That took me about 5 minutes. And so what I'm going to do now is I have a collection of buttons. I'm going to find one and stitch right there by hand. And then I'll show you how it looks. I have this pretty little wooden button that I thought looked nice. I'm going to mark where I want the button to go with a pin. Get my needle ready. All right, do you ladies know how to sew a button on? I've got the button marked where I wish it to be. I'm just going to enter in from behind and go into that first buttonhole. This one has 4 holes. Maybe you can see that. So I'll start at the top and go down. And then I'm going to, from behind, go into that left hole and go over. So I will do that 3 times. And then on the 3rd time, I'll go to the bottom and then the left to right. But this time, instead of going all the way through, what you do is you fold it in half, you go through that hole, and you wrap around 3 times. 1, 2, 3. And then you push the needle through to the back side and tie it off. I may actually have to have a thimble to get this through. Thimbles are great. They'll save your fingers. Ouch. Need one on this hand too. All right, so there it is. Pull it through tightly and then tie it off in the back. Cut the thread close. Be sure to put your needle in a safe place. Pin cushion, keep it handy. All right, so here we go. Take a look. Pretty Dollar Tree Christmas decoration. It cost $1.50 to make this one. I'm going to go hang it on my stove and show you how it looks. So thank you for watching. I hope that this will encourage you to maybe try a simple, inexpensive craft of your own. I'm going to sit here and make the other 3, 1 for me and then 3 as gifts when I have company and I want to leave them with a little happy to remember me by. Thank you. See you next time.